Incoming message.
It was the dawn of the third age of mankind.
Groovy.
Hi-ho. This is me, Kermit the Frog.
Hello there.
Moopsy.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Not a great plan.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
Let's see what's out there. Engage.
Hey there, we're those Sci-Fi guys, and this is that Those Sci-Fi Guys show. Just two working dudes, different lives, different jobs, but a whole lot of love for science fiction and the fun that comes with. We are your hosts. I am P.S. McKay, and I, too, choose to wear my underwear on the outside.
And I'm DT Cavman, and there are laws to prevent that.
Hey. No, they're not. Serious? What? Where? Cite me the civil code, please. Please. Good Lord. How are you, sir?
Super.
Yeah, indeed. I actually have to say that I've been to the movie theater 2 weekends in a row now. I can't remember the last time that happened. It just so happens that's
weird for you.
It is. It just so happens that these 2 weekends corresponded with, or these 2 movie openings corresponded with us having nothing on the calendar. But from here on out, I've got something happening every flipping weekend. So it's been a good road while it lasted. And good luck, Fantastic Four. I won't be seeing you. Dang it. Not to say that I wouldn't want to see it, but I just won't be able to see it anytime soon. And if I do see it in the theater, it'll be a negligible bump for them.
True.
Yeah.
But, it is... I didn't see the Jurassic World Rebirth, but I did go see Superman, and I do plan to see the Fantastic Four. Sundays typically are open for me. Typically.
I don't know. I mean, when you have 2 kids with 2 different kinds of interests, and then you have your own interests, and it adds up. It all adds up, and time is sparing. So, but that being said, I did enjoy Jurassic World Rebirth. It was stupid, but I enjoyed it. It was nice to see a father who was actually a competent father who cared. And
now let's not say anything that's fake. There's no such thing as a competent father in movies.
According to Hollywood, you're correct. This one was, although he did get them into like dinosaur ocean, but whatever. The effects were good. It was a chase movie. Nothing special, but the dinosaurs looked cool, and there were questionable decisions made. Like, why would you open up a raft that self-inflates in front of a sleeping Tyrannosaurus Rex that's coming out of its nap?
Well, yeah,
but either way, if you go in knowing that it's going to be less than intelligent, and knowing that it's not an insult to the audience, it's just everyone wants to see dinosaurs chase people. Well, this movie successfully achieves that. So, other movies that are stupid that try to give some kind of message or something, and it's even more stupid, I don't have a tolerance for. Especially because they're supposed to be well crafted, and they don't. But this was good. And you know what else was good?
Nice crisp beer.
Yeah, I mean that could work. That could work. No, but yes. I mean, how do you? It's the wrong answer. It's the right answer for the wrong question. So, how do we fix that?
Well, my
Do we
weekend
fix
was
it?
good. That was good.
Yeah, how about you tell us about your weekend?
Well, I got, the missus and I got a chance to have some alone time. So we went out to one of our favorite local restaurants, a nice little Italian place. Food was excellent as always. The reason why our kid wasn't around was because she went with my parents to go visit my grandmother the night before. We all got to go together with my grandmother to celebrate her 100th birthday.
Oh, I don't have applause. Here we go.
Yay!
I don't have applause, but I do have this.
Groovy.
So
Yes,
she gets a groovy.
a Bruce Campbell classic, Ash Groovy. I
Why
will
not?
take it. That is, but that's pretty wild. And
That is wild. 100 years. Good for her.
and
She's still driving?
Kinda.
Okay.
Like,
I know it
she-
can be a testy conversation about that. So it just slipped out of my mouth.
At least, I haven't asked, but in the last year or two, she was still, driving herself to her favorite little pizza place down the street, and to the hairdresser. Some small things. Mostly, she's at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Family checks in, neighbors and friends check in. There's a cleaning person who comes by a couple times a week. But it's she's still essentially on her own, which is awesome. So
It's a remarkable feat. I mean, at 100 years old, she doesn't have any assisted living. She doesn't. I mean, she could take care of herself, which is just for the
most
majority
part,
of things. Yeah.
yeah.
That's good. Well, I'm glad.
And
I'm happy for you and the family. That's a nice time to have.
I have a young teenager who has gotten a chance to know and spend time with her great grandmother, and that is awesome.
Yeah. No, that's very important.
Yep. So I know it's
Very good.
rare, and we don't take it for granted, and it was very nice. I think I sent you a picture, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm actually about to share it right now. Here we go. I'm just kidding. So
No, this one is not for publication.
I know. I would never do that. At least not on purpose. It happened by accident though in the past. That's for sure.
Look, it happens. But yeah, so and that was cool. And then it was a day trip. So, but a day trip to it was like 5 hours round trip driving. So it was a little long, but still awesome, and got to see family. And you also know what I did on Sunday. So what did you do this weekend?
Oh, yeah. I always regret. Oh, actually, I actually had a pretty good weekend. It was pretty productive. So I saw Superman on Saturday morning with the boy, with Mac Jr.
Nice.
He actually kind of didn't want to go. I asked him Friday night. I was realizing Friday night we didn't have
It's not
much
cool to
on the
go
docket.
with his dad.
No, that he doesn's have that problem. It's just a matter of whether he actually wanted to see the movie at all.
Sure, that's fair.
So, no, he still hugs me, which is great. I'll take it. But and we actually had a really good heart-to-heart conversation up until like 2 a.m. on Sunday morning, just shooting the stuff about growing up and things like that. So it's fun. I like having those things with him, those moments. But we saw Superman. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, all right, well, if you don't want to go, he's like, you know what, let's go. Because he wanted to spend time with me anyway. So he went, he loved it. He thought it was great. And then I was able to actually pound out 2 chapters of my book. And one on Saturday, one yesterday. That basically 20 pages. That 20 pages that didn't exist before. So that was cool. I don't know how it happens, but each chapter ends up being about 10 pages. I don't know why. That's just what happens when I write.
Well, maybe you reach a natural stopping point, or could be that, that's kind of how your brain tells stories in these chunks.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, the second chapter was a dream sequence, complete departure from the first chapter that I wrote on Saturday. So they're 2 completely different kinds of stories. But so we did that, and then we went to the in-laws as we usually do on Sunday nights, and we were just planning our upcoming vacations for the next 3 weeks. Don't worry, everyone, you'll still get a regular dose of our mugs, whether you want it or not. We'll be spacing this out, so there will not be a gap. There might be fewer episodes per week, but you guys have been getting mostly 1 episode a week anyway.
Well, I mean, 1 episode a week is better than none, and we also, we've got a big milestone coming up. So
yeah, that is a big one. So yeah, it was a good weekend. And I actually am inspired to actually continue to try to write some more tonight. And then I go to court tomorrow. Woohoo! For work. There's nothing bad for me. So just what I have to do. But yeah. What was my segue? I lost the segue. Damn it. You know what I did last night? I actually rewatched our crossover with these Sci-Fi guys on
Which
how we
one?
were to fix the prequel trilogy.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. I had some great flipping ideas, man. Like, I'm sitting there listening. I'm nodding to myself like, yeah, that is a great idea. Oh, that's a brilliant idea. Yeah, man. Why don't you you're a really good writer. Wow. So, but that was a fun time we had with them. And,
I mean, I'd be hard pressed to say we haven't had an event or a crossover that wasn't a good time.
No. I mean, it's all been fun, and they're very nice to ask us along on their latest episode about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990. That was the 1 week we didn't post an episode. I just felt it was going to be superfluous, and I didn't feel right posting that episode underneath our banner because that was literally their show.
Yeah, I get it.
So, but always a good time with them. And yeah. You know how I know I liked a movie? When it doesn't escape my brain, I keep thinking about it. And that's literally what happened this weekend with Superman.
Wait, say that again.
I know I liked a movie when I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, I know.
If I didn't like a movie, it would go out of my brain. Wouldn't want to think about it.
I do a lot of reading up on movies when I'm leaving the theater. Like, I'm like, well, for starters, as soon as it hits the the credits with these movies, I'm like, all right, do I need to sit through the entire credits, or is there something? So I might go and look. Is there a post credits? There is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, there were two. There, there were two in this one.
Ooh.
Mixed regard, by the way. Okay, so there are a couple things I want to talk about this movie. Number one, before we talk about the movie itself, let's talk about the lead up to this. What was your impression about the anticipation for this movie?
Honestly, when it was announced or in last year, and I had no idea who the lead was, I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it.
Okay, so you weren't feeling it. Interesting.
Not at first. And then, I see the costume, and I do like that there's, an older Superman vibe to it. But then, it zooms in close, and I'm like, it's so, I don't know. I think there's some unnecessary ridging and stuff in there. And I didn't like what they did with the S. I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a classic Superman S kind of guy. I didn't really like. I mean, it's fine. I just prefer the classic.
I hear you. The reason why I asked this, okay,
and the first, and I didn't even. I've never heard of this kid, David Corn Sweat.
No one has.
For starters, after all, remember some of the flack that. What was it? Snyder got with Henry Cavill
hiring an Englishman.
Yeah, I'm like, oh great, they hired another Englishman, because
it is the most English sounding last name, isn't it?
It's more English sounding than Cavill. It is. It just sounds very, and of course, yeah. I mean, did Henry Cavill knock it out of the park? Yes. I enjoyed him as Superman. In fact, I was a little bummed that I'm like, well, he's not coming back as Superman. He's not coming back as Geralt of Rivia in Witcher. I mean, come on. Where are you going? Oh, he's hopping to new franchises. Okie dokie. But still, I was a little worried. But then, and some of the early trailers, could be good. But the more I saw it, the more clips, the more you actually see of, this kid as Superman. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel something here.
Now, okay. And I there's going to be plenty of opportunity for us to talk about that impression and everything. But I wanted to bring this up because there has been a lot of pushback in especially the trade magazines, the Hollywood trades, the ones that really want to set the tone for an upcoming movie. And I got to be honest with you, I don't think that they were fair to this movie leading up to it. There was a Variety reporter that was intentionally asking incendiary questions at the red carpet to be used as snippets to anger certain segments of the population. And to the credit, most of the cast backed away. James Gunn backed away. He's like, "Oh, I know what you're doing now. We're not doing that."
It's a trap.
It was. It absolutely was. And I think, and there was one. Oh, that's right. There was an article that was published 2 weeks ago before the embargo by Hollywood Reporter. And it ripped to shreds this movie, saying it was an awful movie. They took it down because it wasn't supposed to be up. And then there was another trade that published a review praising this movie as if it was the second coming. But then they had to take it down because it was, still during it wasn't allowed to be up yet. the embargo. So I don't know why there was so much controversy about this, but it felt like there were people trying to make something out of this movie that it really wasn't for controversy. And ultimately, this is a non-controversial movie in every way, shape, and form. But I think they wanted to get a rise out of people to kind of sabotage things, is because they hate David Zaslav, the head of Warner Brothers. He is not of Hollywood, and he's an outsider. They don't like him, and he's trying to run a business, for better or worse. And they wanted to try to sabotage this movie, and that's what this movie had going against it when it was released. Do you are you picking up what I'm putting down about that? Do you? I mean, I'm not saying you have to agree, but can you see where I might be coming from?
That somebody was trying to sabotage it. What do they call it? Like review bomb or whatever.
I mean, there wasn't really much of a review bombing. We're talking from the professionals. Like, review bombing is basically what the fans can do, when they organize and stuff. And I'm talking from the trades, from the industry itself. It was trying to hurt Superman.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because it didn't feel like there was a lot of fanfare coming into this movie. They were trying, but I don't think a lot of people were on board with helping that along, so to speak.
Well, think of it this way, okay? This is the third Superman reboot.
Fourth. Oh, third reboot, fourth iteration. Sorry, you are correct.
I didn't even finish my statement. I was going to say this century.
Oh,
okay.
Well, that's even better.
Film.
That's even better point. I'm sorry.
Superman Returns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man of Steel.
Yep.
And this guy, and I'm not going to even include the animated or the Arrowverse, which by the way, I was a big fan of Tyler Hoechlin's Superman. I thought he did a great job. Really liked him as both Superman and Clark Kent. But I'm just talking movies, right? So we've also had how many Batmans? 3?
This century?
Yeah. Yeah, Bale.
Yeah.
Affleck. Twilight.
And we could do 4 if you want to add Keaton back into the mix with the Flash.
Nah. Because then I'd have to.
Oh no, DT, I'm losing you. Oh boy. Okay. Hold on 1 second, everybody. All right, I see you changed your your camera here. Don't hear you yet. That's all right. We'll get it figured out, everybody. So I'll add in. I agree. I mean, yes, we are in a situation where we have 3 reboots of Superman, 3 reboots of Batman, all this century alone, within a time span of literally 20 years at most. And that could be a derivative factor as well. A certain amount of fatigue when it comes to superhero movies and whatnot. And I'll also add, I wasn't that enthused when I first saw the trailer for this. It was let's see. It wasn't exactly awe-inspiring, only because there were a lot of opportunities for them to do this with the previous iterations. So I was really excited for Man of Steel. I was super excited for Superman Returns. And that's the thing. So, you know, this just felt like, oh, how am I supposed to get excited for this again? Yeah, DT's trying to tell me, he's asking me if I can hear him, and I can't. So, you know, with that being said, it was actually kind of a miracle that I went to go see this movie at all. But, you know, I took the son and we went, and it was a good time. Let me see here. I'm going to just go ahead and remove you. And we'll just kick you from the studio, DT. And then we'll add you back right here. And we'll try that. So, yeah. Damn. Let's see. Here he is.
Hello.
Okay. I am not a good soloist when I don't have a script in front of me. So, let me just be clear. I'm here vamping. How much of that did you hear?
Some.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. You know, there were a lot of iterations, and it was hard to get excited for something like that too. And that plays a factor, right? So yeah. Do we want to do plot, or do we want to just talk about the elements?
Well, let's talk about it overall.
So we'll talk about the elements.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the plot is fairly straightforward. Now, what I did like is that, kind of like Spider-Man in the MCU, they kind of skipped forward through most of the standard origin story.
Yes, because the audience is more sophisticated now, and I appreciated that. And man, what was it? There was, yeah, speaking of articles, there was another article that was talking about how the one bit of kryptonite for Superman was that it skipped the origin story. And we're like, what? No, it was unnecessary. We've seen Superman's origin at least 3 times now, in some form or another. So I disagree, but you know, haters gonna hate, haters got it right, you know,
and I actually liked it. You know, they did a little bit of an intro,
talking about the universe that we were in.
Yeah, it's not
3
like the
centuries
opening crawl
ago.
from Star Wars, but what would you call it? Just a
quick preamble.
prologue.
Like the Top Gun intro, talking about how Top Gun was formed.
Yeah, it's basically a prologue.
Yeah,
you know,
3 centuries ago, the first metahumans came to Earth, and helped facilitate civilization, living as gods among men. And 3 decades ago, they talk about Superman coming to Earth, and then 3 years ago he came out public, introducing himself as Superman, and then there was
3 minutes
3
ago,
hours ago, and then 3 minutes ago or something. 3 minutes ago, he lost his first fight. And then we see him beat the crap up, and he lands and he falls into the snow in the Arctic. I'm like, wow, that's a bold way to start it. Okay, we're right in the middle of something. Cool.
Yep.
I liked that. I liked that they introduced Krypto right away. And by the way, let's talk about Krypto for a second.
Mrs. Catman wondered if we were going to talk about Krypto. He's like,
delightful.
Superman has a dog?
Yes. Yeah. See, that's the funny part about this. So James Gunn he's a comic book nerd, right? I don't like to use the term nerd, but or comic book geek, whatever.
Enthusiast.
So he knows all the different interpretations of Superman that have been happening over the course of the last 100 years. I mean, it's a 100-year-old character. So you're going to have different versions of Superman. There's one version where there are no robots in the Fortress of Solitude. There's one version where there's all the robots in the Fortress of Solitude. There's one where he has Superboy. There's another where he has Krypto. It's so this kind was an amalgamation of like all the different versions put together that we haven't seen before. I'm okay with that. But Krypto, absolute delight. Reminded me of my dog because he was some kind of doodle. That's for sure. Apparently, they had doodles on Krypton. So,
well, I was very curious if Krypto was actually if this was the first time it was a live action version of Krypto.
Did you do any research onto this, or is this just a question you were thinking about?
I just found out. No, it's not. I guess Krypto appears in the self-titled episode of Smallville.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let's see. There was also Krypto appears in the 4th season of Superman and Lois. This version is a normal golden retriever that Clark Kent adopts shortly after Lois's death in the future. Okay, so this is clearly some future jumping around stuff. But okay. Yeah, so like I said, technically no, but not in film. The only time he's been this is the first time he's been in a live action film. He's been in some of the DC animated movies.
They did Super Pets a few years back.
Yes, one of the stars.
Yeah.
Voiced by The Rock.
Mm-hmm. So,
well, like I said, Krypto was
a bold choice. It was a bold strategy to go that way, by the way, especially with all the fatigue.
Right. Mrs. Gavman was like, why is this new just for the movie? I'm like, no, he's kind of, where is he been? Mind you, we don't have dogs.
Right. Yeah. But she's suddenly Krypto's #1 fan, huh?
I mean, I think it's the same thing as the Grogu effect. I think it's some of the motherly instinct kind of there. But the dog, I don't know. At times, it just seems very cheesy. A dog with a cape, right?
Yeah, super cheesy.
So I can see why Krypto hasn't been a thing in a lot of 21st century live action products.
Well, yes. I mean, what did they do for the X-Men movie in 2000? Did they wear their traditional yellow and blue leotards? No. In fact, they went the way of the Matrix and they wore black leather.
And they made a joke. Fun of the yes. But so, even the MCU dialed down, the more ridiculous costumes of many of the superheroes.
Hawkeye.
I mean, they gave him, he started off in black, but he eventually adopted a little bit of some purple in, I think, Age of Ultron, maybe. And then, but especially in Hawkeye, there was some, but he wasn't wearing the stupid mask, and Scarlet Witch didn't accept in WandaVision as a Halloween costume, which I think was beautiful. Her and Vision wearing their comic accurate costumes, kind of like the comic accurate alternate version of Loki in The Void.
Yeah,
and Captain America they made his cheesy original costume the USO show costume. So I think people have done a good job with that. Even Supergirl kind of made fun of some of the more ridiculous versions of her costume when they were doing the montage of what her costume's going to look like?
In the TV show on CBS?
Yep. Mhm.
Yes. That was cute. I actually like that.
So I get it, right? People dialed it down. Even the Flash's uniforms have, you know, kind of, they had gone with darker red and some, armory looking things instead of basically the red spandex that it was. So
Well, things
seeing
need to be visually appealing, right?
they do
Movies are a visual medium. It's
right.
It's not tell, it's show. So,
Yeah.
the
And
aesthete is part of that.
right. And I think that's why some of they toned down some of the kid sidekick stuff too. One, because it kind of seems a little creepy and irresponsible to have a teenage sidekick fighting crime.
A little different back then. Yeah, it seemed
Well,
perfectly fine. They weren't that far removed from child labor.
Well, they
Child labor
aged
days.
up. They aged up Bucky Barnes from being some kid who followed Cap around to being his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think was a good move. And even in the Batmans where they do introduce Robin, they're generally like at least late teens.
Yes. Yeah.
Like we're talking
That
like
was okay.
legal age, like 18, 19-year-old.
Oh yeah.
Supposedly. So
yeah. Enough to be getting in trouble.
legal adults.
Yes.
Old enough to join the military and vote. There you go. Which, again, I think also kind of makes it just a little more realistic. And, even when you darken up the world, you're like, oh, well, at least he's not dragging a child into combat with a supervillain.
Right. And that was the thing, right? That was what was happening. I think it was because of the Batman and Robin effect, where the movies for Batman in the 80s and 90s got progressively more fantastical. And then we got Mr. Freeze.
Kind of cartoony.
Very cartoony. And so that scared Hollywood. They're like, okay, well, if we're going to do a superhero, it needs to be grounded in reality. And that's how, the X-Men were pretty well grounded in reality. They didn't even show was it the Blackbird? Their jet.
Yeah.
What was their jet? Is it the Blackbird?
Well, it was based on a Blackbird.
Okay. Well, they didn't even want to show that. Like they showed a quick glimpse of it just to, to give a taste to the real hardcore fan base. But they didn't want to show that. Like they didn't want them to have, colorful uniforms. Spider-Man worked really well in that era because it was pretty well grounded and everything. Batman Begins, it was a real emphasis with Christopher Nolan about trying to create a Batman in a realistic world, right? And in today's world,
honestly,
our world,
there wasn't really anything fantastical in those.
No, not at all. But then the MCU happened, and then I remember there was trepidation about Thor, because everything leading up to Thor was, well, the MCU had been grounded a lot in reality, and this is a big risk. They're going to start working on magic and Asgard as an alien planet and things, and worked out well. It was fine. So they started pushing the envelope. The only reason why we got Superman in this fantastical world that we did is because the audience and the studios finally realized, oh, we can have fantastical comic book movies and not have them be cheesy and cartoonish.
Yeah, you can put in enough. The DC movies, I think, were a little too dark.
Right, and that goes back to the fear of the Batman and Robin lesson, I think.
But the MCU could show you that you could have a little bit of fun in these movies too.
Very true.
Even
But
in the
again-
darkest movie, like in moments like in Winter Soldier, which was basically a political thriller, you know, you have good moments of humor, sarcasm.
Black Widow teasing Cap about kissing a girl.
Yeah,
And trying to set him up. What about Dorothy in accounting?
Yeah, I'm not ready for that.
Yeah, that's what he said, right? Yeah, I'm not ready for that.
Yeah.
This is after he kicked. Was it Black Widow kicked?
Jasper Sitwell kicked him right off the roof.
Off the roof. They're just standing there, and I'm sitting here like, you just killed that guy. And they're talking about Dorothy from accounting. It wasn't Dorothy, but you know what I mean. No, it's true. And Krypto, a risk, but he stole every scene he was in.
Well, we know that Krypto is a risk in real life, so
yeah, big time.
You're right, though, and I think part of the reason why Krypto stole scenes is that he very much seemed like a dog, but not like the loyal sidekick. He was a real pain in the ass.
Yes, yeah. And Superman's like, he was more of a foster situation. Like, he's not mine, more of a foster situation. Which I'm like, what does that mean? Okay, we find out later. But
yeah, you do. And
in this,
oh my God, this is every dog parent's worst nightmare in the 21st century.
Right? This one right here, Superman loses his because Luthor took the dog. And
do they not have John Wick in this universe?
I know, right? You don't mess with the doggos, guys. You just don't.
You're just lucky this would have been way bloodier if Lex Luthor took John Wick's dog. I'm just saying.
Ooh. Yeah. It's true. And by the way, bothered the hell out of me. I'm like, where's Krypto? And I saw him on the treadmill, and I'm like, treadmill. And I'm like, that dog's being tortured. Like, yeah. It was a tough moment.
So there are moments
it showed the audience
in
to
this.
care.
Yes, there are moments in this where you're like, oh, this is a James Gunn movie, right? There's some humor. There's some occasional wackiness, like in the Suicide Squad, in like the Guardians of the Galaxy, especially Volume 2, when they're leaping through all the vortexes and like they get all like out of proportion and stretched and everything.
Because they were aliens, by the way.
Right. But there's these kinds of like fly at the camera moments in these James Gunn movies. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, like when, and I know this is partially because this movie was in 3D. I know because I saw it in 3D when Soup knocks that dude's teeth out, and you can hear him clink off clink off of what everybody knows is the camera.
Yep. Yeah.
And my kid's sitting there with me, and she's like, "That's kind of weird. It's kind of awesome." I'm like, "I know."
Krypto did that, right? Was it Krypto who did that?
No, it was Superman and the big brawl with all the,
with all the
super soldiers.
They called the gladiators.
Raptors.
They weren't Raptors. Thank you. Yeah, that was an interesting. Yeah, and they also had a bunch of super powered people. I think that was all tech, right? That was all technology for the Raptors.
Yeah, they looked like they were mostly in super suits and stuff like that.
Yeah. So,
what kind of surprised me a little is like I watched this movie and I'm waiting for like, so and like seeing like way more recognizable faces at times in like key roles. Like, never saw Ma and Pa Kent before.
No. Saw Bradley Cooper, though.
Yeah.
Took me a moment to recognize him, by the way. I am not good at recognizing faces as it is.
Oh, I did. I recognized
I had
him.
a
I'm like,
hard time coming to grips with, is that Bradley Cooper? I literally had to verify it.
Okay, so with Bradley Cooper, what do you think of the message?
Okay, so let's talk about that, because actually this is a very interesting thing and controversial. A lot of people are complaining about this idea. So we're introduced to Superman at the very beginning when he gets brought back to the Fortress of Solitude. The robots help him to heal himself by using the power of the sun. And
Who's the lead robot?
Alan Tudyk, robot number 4. I'm sitting there like, well, now he's just being typecast. So, but they play this hologram message that his biological parents sent him, telling him about he'll be the future. He'll be mankind's hope. Things like that, soothing messages that it basically reinforce his manifesto, so to speak, right?
Until it hits the
his
glitch.
raison d'etre. Well, turns out the second half of that message was damaged in the flight. Lex is able to infiltrate the fortress, and they're able to grab the message
Very easily, by the way.
Well, nanites, man. What are you gonna do?
No, very easily get into the fortress.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, I noticed that
Which
too, and I'm like, oh,
comes
that's
into
gonna
play later.
There's gonna be an explanation for that, and yeah, it all made sense.
I kind of had an idea of what it was, but
I was wondering too, because are you familiar with The Boys?
No, but this is almost like the death of Superman.
Yes, I'm not as familiar with that story. I watched the cartoon. I just want to say
versions of the death of Superman in the aftermath, like when the rise of the Superman, where like other superhero or people come out trying to fill the void of Superman, where you get Steel and some of these others, but a couple of them were like fucked up clones of Superman.
Yeah.
Which is what this was. They were clones. Yes.
Well, I actually did get a Boys vibe, because in the comic, Black Noir, who we never see his face, actually ends up being a clone of Homelander to keep Homelander in check. And Homelander doesn't know this. He knows nothing about Black Noir other than he's just this guy in this black stocking who doesn't speak. I don't know if that's the case in the TV show on Amazon, but spoiler alert, everybody. Sorry I ruined it for you, but apparently no one really likes The Boys after season 3. So, so I had a Black Noir kind of vibe going with, okay, this guy obviously can go toe to toe with Superman, and he can fly. He's got all the same basic powers. And then we see it's a clone of Superman. Spoiler alert, everybody. But and go see the movie.
Oh man, at this point, I just thought it was going to be Bob coming out.
Bob? Wade? So, train of thought. Oh, yes. So the message, Lex is able to reconstruct the message. And as it turns out, the second half of the message was detailing their plan for Superman to basically take over the Earth, create a harem, have lots of children, and try to keep the genetics of Krypton going. This is actually a real comic element. This was in a version of the comics.
I figured it had to be in a version of the comics.
Yes. So, I mean, it's not as controversial as other people make it out to be, but it it's not the normal history that we know of with Superman. And I actually like the idea that this came out, because Superman was all about, he was constantly being questioned. The scene with Lois Lane when she's interviewing him, she kept drilling him, and this scene also had cause for concern for me when they showed it in the previews. She just kept grilling him, like, how do you know you made the right choice? How do you know you made the right choice? He stopped a war. Well, you went above over the heads of those heads of state. You bypassed the U.S. government completely. You operated on your own. And he goes, people were going to die. Number one, that emphasizes the innocence of who Superman is. Save lives. That's the number one priority. The man saved a squirrel from a kaiju attack. All right.
I know.
Number two,
I wouldn't drive out of my lane to miss a squirrel. I'm not going to actively hunt one down with my car, but I'm not going to risk me and my family trying to miss the squirrel.
I've told my family repeatedly, if a squirrel is in your lane, that was their choice. Do not swerve. Okay. You will cause more damage to everyone else if you try to avoid the squirrel. All right. That being said, the second part of that,
we're just saying Superman's a better person than we are.
Yes, super so. The second part of that is he is constantly being questioned for his motives. Like he has this conviction. I'm here to help. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm helping by doing this. And people are questioning him. Are you really helping though? And then he has this crisis of faith in himself because he finds out he was meant to do the exact opposite of what he's been doing. Not that he wants to do that opposite thing of taking over the earth and everything. He's upset that he feels like his life has been a fraud and a lie, and it's devastating. And what happens? He ends up going to Ma and Pa Kent's house, his parents.
No. He turns himself in.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I'm talking about later. I'm doing a jump. I'm talking about the character arc itself. Like
when he does come back to Smallville.
Right. I'm talking about like his internal struggle. So the next phase of that is him being in Smallville and him talking to Pa. And I actually got choked up at the scene. I'm sitting next to my son, and and Pa Kent's talking about how we don't have all the answers. All we can do is provide you a good direction and hope that you make those right decisions to keep going in that direction.
Well, he also said it's not a parent's job to make their kids something.
Exactly. Yes, that was literally one of the things he said. I kind of conveyed that sentiment, but not really. Not well.
And you know what my theory is, right?
Reiterate, please.
My theory is Jonathan and Martha Kent may be the true, actual greatest heroes of the DC universe.
Yeah. Yes. I can agree.
Because, and I never saw it, but there was Supergirl did a little play on it, but the Superman, the Red Sun arc, where it's an alternate version where Superman lands in Soviet Russia and he becomes this iron fist of,
the
Soviet communism. Exactly.
Yeah.
Or what, didn't they have this movie where this kid was Brightburn? Yeah. Wasn't it a horror movie?
Yeah. And actually produced by James Gunn, written by his brother.
Sean. Okay. Yeah.
Not
doesn't
Sean,
the kid
someone
go,
else.
Sean you said his brother. That's Sean.
He's got
Gunn.
several. He's got several other brothers.
Okay.
There's Patrick and there's someone else, and I don't know, but it wasn't Sean. Now you're gonna make me look it up. Okay.
wasn't like, doesn't this kid like kind of go off?
He goes the other direction. Yeah, he's a sociopath. He's like Homelander, except worse. He just goes on a suicidal tear. Genocidal tear.
Homicidal. Oh,
homicidal. Thank you. All the sides. all the sides, all the slides.
Even worse, it was a barber side.
Yeah. So yeah, and he terrorizes this town. He I don't know how many people he offs and whatnot. Elizabeth Banks is in this movie. Brian Gunn and Mark Gunn wrote it, his two brothers. So Gunn's a Catholic, by the way. So.
Well,
anyway,
it's a good old American thing to have as many guns as you can.
Guns. Yeah, that's funny. Nice work.
You're welcome.
Nice work.
But
yes,
Ma
and Pa Kent, the greatest heroes of the DC universe,
because they imbued Clark with this, and he identifies as Clark.
Yep.
Superman is his alter ego. Clark Kent is who he is, right? The best versions of Superman, Clark Kent is the real core, where he has this, and maybe it's a little naive and maybe it's a little soft at times, but he's got this big heart and this honor and desire to do good for the sake of doing good. In the old days, truth, justice, and the American way. Because why? Because he grew up on a grew up on a farm in the middle of Kansas, the heart of the bread basket and everything, that, all those cliches and everything. But that's who Clark Kent was. And he learned to control his powers partially through the means of self-control and selflessness instilled to him by his parents.
Yeah.
And this is a nice version where you get to see an adult Superman with two living parents.
Yeah, that was nice. And that's a comic element. That was later, that Superman suddenly had both Ma and Pa as an adult later on in the comics. Like, it's been just rewritten over and over again,
Sure. And, what I liked is, and I don't think I've seen this actor before who played Pa Kent. And, I just didn't know who he was. So I was like, I don't know. Normally they have like some pretty well-known face playing the parents, right? Kevin Costner or something, right?
I'm thinking that this was a James Gunn father insert. I'm thinking that his father died a few years back, and he showed a picture of him back about 10 years ago when Guardians came out. It was a nice little picture. It was a picture of his father hosing down James's driveway, and he goes, and the caption is, "He comes out here to visit for vacation, and no matter how many times I tell him he doesn't need to do anything, every day I wake up when he's visiting, he's out there, sweeping the stoop, washing down the driveway, making sure the grass is clear, and he just can't stop taking care of me." Very, very touching post 10 years ago. Then,
sure,
he passed, and I had vibes that was James Gunn talking to his father, or his father talking to him in that right. And Gunn is a very good writer when it comes to parent-children relationships and stuff. So it worked out well.
His name is Pruitt Taylor Vince. And, I kind of thought they, I don't know, maybe yokeled up their accent a little.
A little bit. That's all right.
And I know I lived in Kansas for 3 years. And I was like, oh man, they're gonna make Superman's parents seem like real bumpkins. They're simple, once you got to Smallville and he's there with them, you just you just kind of fell in love with them, and you get it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They got it. It was really good. You
Yeah.
know, especially the scene where Clark's sitting out on the swing, looking out at the farm, eating, I assume, probably oatmeal or cereal, and his
Yeah.
dad comes out and sits next to him, and I just think they did a great job.
That was very good. And his father goes, I am so proud of you, Clark. And yeah, and that was the faith that gave Superman the faith to go, you know what, I am still on the right track. Other people had different plans for me, but this was a better plan.
And you can understand
faith in himself.
You can definitely understand that, you know, your faith being shaken, because he did believe he was sent there for a reason by his Kryptonian parents, and it was for the cause of good, and it wasn't. So I have a unconventional take on that message, by the way.
Okay.
Luthor exaggerated some shit. And I know when she found it, she's like, I've got something, you know, but I'm like,
the way it was structured,
you really
could
super villain?
You really could take that interpretation, and there's no in there. They do say offhand that it's been verified by the top linguists in the world that this message is authentic. They do say that, but
did they say?
They don't show it.
They actually understood it.
They don't. They don't show that, right? So it's show, don't say. So yeah, I mean, your take on that could be true. But I mean, that's the fun part. You're not wrong. I don't want it to be like that. I want that message to actually have him assigned to take over Earth, because I think that benefits his character in rejecting.
Well, yeah, it gives him even more agency and makes him a better hero. That this is what he was, his family's, or his biological family, his world sent him to do, and he's like, nah, I'm not going to be a super dick. I'm going to do my best to help, you know, the weak, the downtrodden, protect the innocent, you know, stand up for the little guy and protect people because I can.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are these guys.
And then these guys, right? The Justice guys.
The Justice Gang.
The Justice Gang. I know.
Which
I said
doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right, but it works.
Justice and gang doesn't go well together.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But we've seen Hawk Girl. The honesty. We've seen Hawk Girl before in what was that DC Black Adam?
No, it was Hawkman, I thought.
Oh, that was Hawkman. Damn it. Okay, never mind.
We've seen her. She was one of the first Legends of Tomorrow, actually. Hawk Girl was in the first season.
Hers? Like,
so
they grow out of her back?
So and this is why I read into these things, because they don't give you any background on any of these guys.
No, I mean, you get this, you know that they're metahumans. We knew that there were other metahumans around. That was very clearly set up, right?
And if you've watched enough comic book TV shows, movies, etc., you know who they are.
Correct.
Everybody knows that Guy Gardner is, or everybody who knows the Green Lanterns know that Guy Gardner is the asshole Green Lantern from Earth.
Right. Let's talk about Guy Gardner for a second.
First off, thank you, James
Nathan
Gunn,
Fillion.
for actually giving Nathan Fillion a real
Green Lantern role.
Well,
yeah,
he's been the voice of Green Lantern for quite a while, actually, on and off through TV shows and movies as in animation. He's played Hal Jordan several times. He's
there was
also
a big
played
push in the late aughts, though, to have him cast as Green Lantern after Superman Returns came out, and there was talk. This is before Iron Man, by the way. Like around 2006, there was talk like, hey, why doesn't Warner Brothers just go ahead and start doing the Justice League? There's no reason not to.
Well, they were killing it in animation.
True. But, they had nothing like that had ever been done in live action. And they went so far as to actually cast Wonder Woman. And the fans wanted Nathan Fillion. At the time, Nathan Fillion was considered too old. But there was a fan trailer made. I'm trying to look for it right now.
And I'll tell you, Nathan Fillion, I think, nailed it anyway, but he's had multiple DC roles before this. He played Guy Gardner. Not Guy Gardner. He's playing Guy Gardner. He played Vigilante in Justice League Unlimited in several episodes. Kind of leaned a little bit into that Mal Reynolds Western accent. As one of the roles of Vigilante, the one who rode the motorcycle, wore the cowboy hat. He was in the Suicide Squad for about 2 minutes.
Fillion was?
Yeah. Remember, you saw the Suicide Squad, the James
I did
Gunn.
not. I saw the first one. I know that the Suicide Squad wasn't really a sequel,
but it kind of was.
But it wasn't exactly a reboot, but it kind of was. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where you get John Cena to appear as that's where he made his first appearance as Peacemaker. And they have this whole new Suicide Squad because they killed most everybody else, and including, returning members of Flag and Harley Quinn and Captain Boomerang. They also bring in a whole bunch of randos like Nathan Fillion's character was like the detachable kid where his like arms take off and like pummel people. It's an obscure character. But again, he's had little blip roles, blink if you'll miss it at times in the Guardians movies until Guardian 3, where he finally had, you could see his face.
More than one line.
God, I loved how much he hated that one dude.
Yeah, it was good.
Like, I have a guy like that. even when Nathan Fillion is a dick in a lot of these things, he's still kind of charming. We were watching The Big Bang Theory, and like one of the early seasons was like, I can't believe they're casting Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern instead of lovable rogue Nathan Fillion.
Yeah. Here, speaking of which, this is the fan-made trailer back 16 years ago, by the way. This was made. Can you hear it?
No.
You can't hear it?
I cannot.
Son of a bitch.
I cannot hear it from my box. I cannot hear it with a Fox.
Let's try doing this again. I'll share the screen. Okay. And here we are. Share. Let's try this again. Can you hear it now?
Yes.
Green Lantern of Sector 2814. I am Abin Sur. I ordered my ring to find you.
Rise of the Silver Surfer.
What?
What is that? What I have to tell you will seem unbelievable.
The ring has chosen you.
Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern.
So it's a cool little fan-made thing. I liked it. I found it enjoyable. It actually looked pretty seamless 16 years ago. But
yeah, but I saw several of them. I was like, oh, that's
Firefly.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, oh, that's Rise of the Silver Surfer. That's the Silver Surfer.
Yep.
And then there was also something from the Planet of the Apes movie with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, well, that's what fan trailers were back then. So you do.
So what did you
suppose a creativity?
What did you think of the Justice Gang?
I actually liked them a lot. They first of all, they're in the Hall of Justice, which is financed by some billionaire that they never show. They mention him.
Maxwell Lord.
And who is he supposed to be?
Another dick.
Is he another
billionaire?
metahuman?
No, he's like kind of like Lex Luthor. But Maxwell Lord was played by Sean Gunn. He's the guy who says, "Hey, that's something the left and the right can agree."
Yeah,
Lex Luthor sucks. That was Maxwell Lord.
Okay,
so I hope if they do another movie that we get a little more of Sean Gunn as Maxwell Lord. He's kicked around in many universes. He's been an antagonist, or he's another one of those billionaires who tries to like create his own superheroes and shit.
Right. Okay, that's cool. I liked the gang. I really appreciated seeing Nathan Fillion as a Green Lantern. He did everything that I wanted him to do, including when he was intervening in the invasion between Baranga or Baruna.
Bravia and
I don't know.
Yeah. Bravia was the country.
Could they have chosen at least a couple simpler names? Just a couple.
Well, Bravia sounds like Central or Eastern Europe. That is what it is.
I know what they were going for, right? But yeah, but when they intervene and he's like knocking all the tanks back, and it's the green middle finger is flipping back.
Not all of them. I noticed.
Not all. Yeah.
Some were fists, some were hands, but several were ones just popping up as a middle finger.
Superfluous middle fingers, unnecessary, but there they were.
But that's Guy Gardner. He's a dick.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Let's talk about Mr. Terrific. I didn't know who he was. I could tell that he was like the moral backbone early on. But I didn't know what he was. And then the bubble scene with Lois in the bubble while they're infiltrating the beach base. Yep. Holy crow. Amazing. Just fantastic. He just lays waste.
Mr. Terrific is a genius and he's almost like Tony Stark in some ways.
Yes. Yeah. And what was the joke? He goes, "Oh, I placed some nanobots inside of Superman so I could track him." And Lois Lane's like, "Wait, you put nanites in him?" And he was like, "Yeah, I put nanites in everyone." And Hawk Girl's like, "Wait, what?" So
okay, Mr. Terrific, a superhero and inventor who uses a variety of high-tech gadgets to fight crime, and is a member of the Justice Gang, sponsored by Maxwell Lord.
Okay. He's also like super competent in combat, like just laid waste to everyone. And one could say he probably enhanced his brain with his cybernetic implants and whatnot. But okay, fine. He was still awesome. Yeah. Liked him a lot. And the joke about Krypto finding his scout balls, those robot balls, that came to pay off, by the way, later.
T-spheres.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. They're balls.
There was a version of Mr. Terrific in the later seasons of Arrow.
Okay. And then Hawk Girl, I mean, she was great. She was fine. She had some good lines. I feel like she could have. I don't know. I mean, we'll probably see more of her in the sequel.
So
she definitely. I felt like she was underutilized
a bit. So Kendra Saunders, Hawkgirl, is a superhero with wings and various melee weapons. She is reincarnated from an alien, retaining her memories and past trauma. So she's her species, like there's like a big connection with like Egyptians, like they're some of the basis for some of the Egyptian gods, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Same with Shazam, the Sumerians, and
a lot of stuff like
Black Adam.
Right. So you've got 3 not frontline superheroes, but ones who are well enough. You're like, oh, I've heard of Hawkgirl. Mr. Terrific sounds familiar. And okay, a Green Lantern, which people only start realizing at a certain point is, oh, there's actually many Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
Okay.
True. I also like how Guy, immediately turned on Superman, going, "Wait, so you mean to tell me that you're the very alien threat that I was sworn to fight against?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that was what the Green Lanterns do." It's just good. It was good. That was good. I enjoyed it.
Guy Gardner's kind of the dirty cop.
Yeah.
Not like the bad cop, like the guy who's like whacking people on the side, but he's kind of the one who like bounces a perp off the wall in an interrogation room, kind of. He's one of those guys who's always about to be fired.
Right.
That's kind of how he is.
Yeah.
And Fillion
not
just
worth
nails
it, Guy. It's not worth it. Yeah, he nailed it really well. I enjoyed them. The casting in this movie was just fantastic. Everyone had great chemistry.
David Corenswet killed this role. He was so earnest, and he was so, I mean, like he was like, gosh and golly. He's getting his ass handed to him at times. Right. You got the feeling it was how he spoke. And I liked him. He wasn't as tortured as Henry Cavill's was, at least in Man of Steel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I liked him. He really grew on me. I'm like, I like this kid. He kind of reminds me. He reminds me a little of Alden Ehrenreich. Like, this guy is really stepping into this Han Solo role, and I really kind of like him.
I got you. I ended up liking Solo. I didn't want to like it, but I liked Solo. That, would you say, this might be a hot take for some people, that he was okay? Brandon Routh, decent Superman, right? I didn't really find any fault in him, but when you think about Superman Returns, he was doing an impression of Christopher Reeves.
He was Christopher Reeve, yeah.
So he was kind of bound to that. David Corenswet got the character of Superman and Clark Kent independently. Mm-hmm. And I would say the only other person who really did that in live action first, after Christopher Reeves, Dean Cain.
Okay.
About that. The first one. I mean, who was the guy that was in the Arrowverse? That Superman.
Tyler Hoechlin.
Yeah, he did a great job too. I'm not putting him down in any way, shape. I'm just talking about. Well, actually, I mean, I was going to say I'm just talking about the movies, but Dean Dean was not in a movie, The Adventures of Lois and Lane, or sorry, Lois and Clark.
Well, he did in the first 2 seasons. He played Supergirl's adopted foster
Yes,
father.
Yeah, I liked that. Along
And
with Linda
Supergirl.
Hamilton.
No, but she was the Supergirl from the movie in the 80s.
Yeah, it wasn't Linda Hamilton. What was her name?
No, Lindsay. Was it Lindsay Wagner? No,
Lindsay
that wasn't it.
Wagner.
No.
Shoot, dude. Gotta look that one up.
Yeah.
Supergirl. 19. Helen Slater.
Yeah, right. And at one point, Linda Carter played the president of the United States in
That's right.
in Supergirl, and she was succeeded by her vice president, Bruce Boxleitner.
Of course. Because
Hey,
Bruce Boxleitner just has to be a politician now in all the sci-fis. So,
it's not like he's going to play Superman now. He's graduated from trigger puller to decision maker in your older age. That's what happens.
No, that's absolutely true.
But you look at it and they have a very interesting dynamic. Like, we've come into this world that's already in motion, right? They're interviewing Peacemaker, so clearly this is after the Suicide Squad. This is after his TV show.
Yes.
You have Rick Flag Sr. Frank Grillo is Rick Flag Sr. So he's Rick Flag's dad, the Rick Flag who got killed by Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad, who is, I guess, he's also in the TV show Creature Commando. But Nathan Fillion, Isabel Merced, and I think Frank Grillo are all going to be in Peacemaker season 2, which they've dropped some promotional trailers to tie in with this. So
might be good. I actually subscribe to HBO for the month, so I'm gonna have to catch up on the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. That's what I'm gonna have to watch this month. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to as well.
This Superman movie actually inspired me to rewatch Superman 1978 on Saturday night. Like, it was that in my brain. It was a good movie, great movie, fantastic. So I enjoyed this movie that much to revisit, the older iterations and whatnot.
Sure.
That has, you mentioned that we're entering this world mid-motion, right? Everything's already established. We're just kind of, everything's already rolling, and we kind of have to keep pace with it, right? That has been a little bit of a criticism. Do you agree with that?
Not really. I mean, one, if you're gonna have to do an origin story, you're gonna have to pay more money for the people to play Ma and Pa Kent,
right?
And I'm not knocking the actors who did it, because I think they did a great job, displaying that earnestness that you get from people who spent their time working the land, who raised their son. And I love the montage at the end when they replace the message from his parents, his Kryptonian parents, with video clips of him with his human parents, and all the joy and love that you see there. And you see this like look of contentment on Superman's face when he's being in his recharge pod, and it just hits. And it's like, it's like he's not the stepdad, he's the dad who stepped up, kind of thing.
Yeah, that was a good moment. You know what I also liked? I'm sorry, did you make your point? I apologize if I interrupted.
Well, I don't have a problem with it, because it's kind of like how Spider-Man worked in the MCU.
That's
All
right.
right.
I needed to
The
wrap
Uncle
that.
Ben's already dead. Okay, great.
Yeah.
He's already Superman. We don't need to. And I mean, they didn't do that in the Arrowverse either. They talked about by the time Kara had arrived at Earth, Clark had grown up to become Superman. And like he's now mentoring her, even though she's technically older than he is.
Right.
And
I was telling my son about that on the way out of the theater. So
I don't mind it because I've seen enough of these. Okay. Show me something I haven't seen before.
Well, that's it, right?
Here's the thing, and I'm in, it's in a comfort zone. You've already got me in the door because I like Superman, but make me feel, and I know it's a lot to ask, but make me feel comfortable, but show me something a little different. Okay.
Yeah, it is kind of a big ask.
Well,
I agree with you.
I think they did a good job, right? Like, so
Yeah.
This Superman isn't dark and moody. This Superman but he's not so naive, but he's still kind of a young guy, though. I mean, he's
There is
playing
a genuine
a Superman,
naivete to him, yes.
and I've seen that like he's supposed to be playing a Superman probably in his mid to late 20s. So he's Superman, but he's not like the Superman who's been flying around the world for a decade. He's only been at it a couple of years. So he's still kind of a rookie, a young guy. He's making mistakes, but he owns it. Right?
Yes.
And that's what he talks about when he's finally jacking up Luthor's world, is he's like, dude, I make mistakes, but I'll own up to it. I'm trying to do good every day. When I get out of bed every morning, I want to feel like I'm doing some good to their. By the way, this was fantastic.
the
flies
interdimensional
in,
sprite.
Yeah. And this huge battle over Metropolis is going on as he's sitting and taking off his boots.
Yeah, and Lois even asked him, like, don't you need to go do something about that? And he's like, it's just an interdimensional sprite. They've got it. The Justice Gang was out there, and Green Lantern had a big green bat in the background, slamming it on the head numerous times.
It reminds me a little of the battle with Starro in the Suicide Squad, which you should watch.
I know, I need to. I will. I'm gonna be. I've got some downtime coming up.
Sure.
I'll be able to do it.
One of the things I like.
This actually made me excited to go back and see that. By the way, so
I've seen something similar to Clark's apartment like this in an old cartoon from the 80s. There was like a New Adventures of Superman, whatever, that was kind of like around the same time that the Super Friends were on. I think in one of those years where there wasn't a new version of the Super Friends, there was a Superman show. And I remember very clearly he had this apartment that he could just, slide this glass door and kind of like float into. And that's what he has got, a sliding window here.
I was trying to figure that out. I didn't see the window slide. So I mean, it's fine. I'm okay with that. One doesn't need to make too much of a leap that a window can open. I just missed it.
And what really, starts to hit you home, how much, that he's still kind of naive, is like he and Lois are like sneaking around and hooking up. It's only been 3 months. She knows he's Superman. He's clearly more like an advanced booty call. But he's like 3 months in. I love you, Lois.
Yeah. No, that's true. And that's the genuineness of his heart, right?
Yeah.
So how about
he makes it believable. I like this kid.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
makes it believable. It's not cheesy for cheese sake. You know, that was a little. Christopher Reeve was a little cheesy. Brandon Routh was a little cheesy, but it was kind of supposed to be like that anyway.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
no, absolutely.
this Superman is a earnest guy who tries to play fair with everybody, and no one does.
No. And yeah, and that's that there's a tragedy to that.
And Lois
We're
is a
coming up.
cynic, and they struggle with that. But I gotta tell you, this was an enjoyable movie, and it was a pretty damn good Superman movie.
I agree. I mean, there were a lot of moments where I was genuinely overcome with, like, I mean, the scene like during the invasion where those kids hold up the flag with the Superman S on it. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, like, and Guy Gardner comes. Sorry, kids, Superman couldn't be here, but you got an upgrade. Like that, and then the talk with Pa Kent, yeah. There were a couple others, but I mean, that was the biggest one, and I liked that. Oh man, there's not enough time to talk about this. Maybe
did you walk out feeling kind of good after seeing this movie? Not
I
just
did,
that you
actually.
enjoyed a movie, but did you feel a little warmth, especially since you're
did.
walking out with your kid?
Yeah, I did. It absolutely. There was only one other movie where I walked out feeling elatedly warm, and that was Guardians Volume 1.
I walked out feeling pretty good too, but that dancing baby Groot got me every time.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Oh, another touching scene where Clark tries to tell Lois that he's punk rock, and she's like, no, you're not. And then I don't know what's going on with this trope, but there's been a barrage of different movies and television shows where two people who are dating, the guy brings her to his family, to his childhood bedroom, or they're in high school, to his bedroom. Nothing nefarious or hanky-panky really, but there are moments, and this literally happens in my third book, by the way, too. So I don't know if it's something in the air that's causing this, but you have this moment where these women get to see who this person they're dating truly was or truly is by seeing the posters on their wall, the kinds of gadgets they have sitting on their shelves, the kinds of books they read, how they kept their room, different things like that. You're going to learn a lot about someone by how their room is. And Lois had that moment in Superman's room where she sees...
It's always the moment where the cynic sees that the person is really as genuine as they proclaim to be.
Yes.
That's what it is. It's like,
yes.
Oh, he's not playing a game. This is really who he is, or she is. You know, it's that moment of revelation. And this is and I feel like we've danced around it, but Lois was good in this too.
I liked she had agency. She wasn't just there to be a damsel.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Amy Adams, but how they wrote that Lois, there was no reason for her to be there at all in Man of Steel. Like, she was just there because the writer wanted her there. There was no reason for Zod to request her presence when they brought Superman on their spaceship. But here, she was actively trying to, number one, find Superman when he was being held by the government, i.e. Luthor. And, she went on a little bit of a side quest with Mr. Terrific. And by the way, Jimmy Olsen, ladies' man,
Is it me or did he? Yeah, I know, right? Skylar Gisondo is
He's
Jimmy
enjoyable.
Olsen.
He was in the Vacation movie back 10 years ago.
It's a little bit of a dick.
He was in this movie, yes.
Um,
He didn't play well with other women's hearts, that's for sure. But let's also be clear. Eve Tessmacher, little crazy.
always has been.
You saw the texts that she had left him on his phone, and the first text we see that she had last left were "F you, asshole," middle finger, whatnot. And then he texts her, and then she writes back, "Hi, you want to hang out this weekend?" Run. But
Yeah,
she's
definitely.
Yeah, I liked Tessmacher, by the way. She actually, I found it exceedingly annoying at first that she was just in that control room taking all these different selfies everywhere.
Yeah,
she was hedging her bets. That minx, she was actually protecting herself by doing that. Brilliant move.
She was not quite as dumb as everybody thought she was.
Yeah, I liked it. And what a redemption moment for her. Like, for the audience to realize that in her. Like, I was fooled. I'll admit that. I feel bad about that.
Yeah.
But oh man, there's not enough time in the day. All right,
what I can tell you is that yeah, go ahead.
Finish your remark, because I was just going to say let's move on to ratings and then recommendation.
We probably didn't go into enough about certain things, but like you're right. All the way back at the beginning, Krypto stole every scene he was in. He was a hyperactive pup.
He gets his revenge.
He does. He gets his revenge. There was a lot of times where I'm like, oh, he's gonna kill somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a superpowered dog who's pissed off. He's gonna kill somebody. But in the end, you kind of see why he's kind of all over the place.
Yeah. A little bit.
Setting up another movie coming out next year, Supergirl, starring Millie Alcock. Who
is that really coming out next year?
That's what all the stuff is said.
Okay.
That I've seen.
I'm actually inclined to look forward to it, to be honest with you. Oh yeah, here it is.
Because she looks like a mess.
It's a good joke. We'll hold off on it. Enjoy the movie, guys. Oh God, she was born in 2000.
Millie Alcock was just that. It was Rhaenyra in the first half of season 1 of House of the Dragon.
Oh, that's why she looked familiar. Okay. Yeah. Well,
Australian too.
She was enjoyable in her cameo. I enjoyed it. And I actually was wondering how she was drunk. I'm like, is she drunk? I'm like, Superman can't get drunk. Neither can Supergirl.
They explained it.
They explained it. They explained it. So, I mean, that's a whole other troubling aspect. But hey, whatever. You're out superheroing. You sometimes need to chill out. So, ultimate grades. What do you got?
This is a solid A, man. I very much enjoyed it from start to finish. It kind of gripped you right there. And I heard, some reviews that people said it was kind of a drag at times, but I thought it paced well. I thought the story was good. It wasn't the same retread Superman story we've seen every time. Even when they're done right, you've still seen it before.
Right. So. True.
I liked
agree.
It very much.
Good. Well, I'm glad. I am in the same boat. Solid A. not an A+. CGI.
Yeah, you're going to give it an 87, solid A, but an 87.
No, definitely a 95. Some of the CGI, like the anti-proton river, was weird. That was a weird scene. But overall, I mean, a solid A. Good story, a good story arc for the characters. Everyone had something to do. It was a good time. And here's the other aspect of that. The movie ended, and I didn't want it to end. I wanted more. I was satisfied with the movie. Don't get me wrong, but I was left yearning. Like,
agreed.
So it ended too soon for me, in a sense, and it's actually a good length. It's the perfect length for what it needed to be. Just, it's a good sign when you have a movie and you want more out of it. So it's good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. I'm just trying to prepare for our ultimate out on this. But DT, anything else you want to add? You recommend? We're good.
Hey, I say get out there, take a look at it. It's a fantastic film. You know, DC hit one out of the park with this one. And if James Gunn can do this with universe, that would actually work.
You want to repeat that last sentence, because I started playing the outro music, but it then somehow muted you. I don't know why.
Oh, well, I said DC hit one out of the park with this one, and it gives me hope from the future that they can build a nicely interconnected universe for a change.
I think so. I think there's ample opportunity for that, and I'm actually looking forward to the next one. So maybe we'll see Superman again and Supergirl. That'd be nice. All right, then. I'm going to try playing this outro again. So that's it. We're at the ultimate end. Until the next time, guys, you guys keep dreaming. We'll keep working. I am PS McKay. We're those sci-fi guys. It's out there. DT?
I'm DT Cavman. And I missed my outro. I'll just go up here on the high ground and continue thinking about the upcoming Superman sequels.
There we go. Those Sci-Fi Guys is an independent broadcast by Alpha Site Productions, produced by DT Cavman and PS McKay. Ocean by music by Aiden under Creative Commons license. For more information on upcoming episodes, follow PS McKay on X at PS McKay or go to thosescifiguys.com for past episode information. You can now find us on Spotify, so head on over there for our latest episodes. But don't worry, you can still find us on Apple. We're also live on Rumble, and you can find us on YouTube with live video podcasts and Facebook. So be sure to leave a like and a comment and let us know how we're doing.